It's official, as we've been saying all along, Obamacare will force taxpayers to pay for abortion. I'm Matt Barber, Vice President of Liberty Counsel Action. Joining me in studio today is Steve Crampton, Senior Vice President with Liberty Counsel and General Counsel with Liberty Counsel. And Steve, our friends over at LifeSite News are reporting that it is official. The concern that we as pro-life individuals and pro-life organizations have had about Obamacare legislation funding abortions has been confirmed. Nestled within the quote, individual mandate in Obamacare is a portion requiring that every American purchase abortion, a quote, abortion premium mandate. They have to pay this separate premium in order to cover abortion. Ostensibly, that will go into a kitty, and then whoever wants an elective abortion, that abortion will be funded free of charge on the backs of pro-life and pro-family taxpayers. We've been saying it all along. Obama lied about it. Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid lied about it while the debate was occurring. President Obama even went through signed an executive order purporting to make exactly this sort of thing illegal, which we knew carried no weight whatsoever. But everything we've been saying is coming true.
It's exactly right, Matt. And part of the difficulty, I think, that you have when you're challenging or even contemplating a bill as enormous as Obamacare with, thousands of pages, and as Pelosi famously observed, well, we have to pass it before we can read it. For goodness sake, you can't expect us to know everything that's in it. Sometimes it takes, in this case, we're at the 2-year anniversary here before the Department of Health and Human Services has finally issued what they call the final rules that clarifies what we've all suspected all along, and it has now been confirmed. You've got an abortion mandate rolled into this thing, and you'll be penalized basically if you try to opt out of that. So it's a catch 22. Either you get low cost insurance coverage, or you are, in which case you are also paying for abortion, or you're opted out and you're just hammered with costs. So you've got not only the individual mandate itself, all the constitutional concerns that implicates for Americans and our freedom to do what we will with our own money or not even participate at all. And now you've got this added burden that, as you say, they've played hide the ball with for now 2 years. It's extraordinary to me as well that you've got the whole government system, the White House on the one hand, maybe not even knowing what the Department of Health and Human Services is really doing on the other. But at the end of the day, voila, they work very well together in favor of the abortion industry, as Obama has promised them from day one of his administration.
Which we knew they would. And this is all by design, Steve. Within Obamacare, over and over again, you see the phrase, the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall ... Yes. Kathleen Sebelius, a radical pro-abortion fanatic, buddies with George Tiller, the late notorious late-term abortionist. She hosted in the governor's house a big party, a function to celebrate his lifelong to reward and celebrate his lifelong career as a serial murderer. She is a radical. She now has a blank check with Obamacare, and we said this. We said, look, this leaves it wide open for Kathleen Sebelius to do whatever she wants to do, complete arbitrary authority to impose whatever she wants to. That's exactly what we're doing here, and it's by design that they waited a couple years into this because it never would have gotten through otherwise. So they waited a couple years. Now they insert this poison pill after the fact, after it's already passed. So really, it's no surprise.
And, you bring it back to what we're about here with faith and freedom, and let's consider what were the founders' views on things like this. This would be so far removed from anything that the drafters of the Constitution, those who bled and died for the freedoms that we enjoy in this country, to even contemplate, much less have forced upon them by the federal government. This isn't a state-by-state decision. That's part of the enormity of Obamacare, isn't it? You've got the federal government now dictating to every state in in the union what every citizen in the union must do. Go out and essentially fund a practice that many of us consider abhorrent and nothing
a majority
short
of Americans.
Murder. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, we pay for this and we pay for that, and our tax dollars have gone to fund abortions overseas already, year after year. But to bring it home right here where you basically see your hard-earned dollars going to fund something that, is akin to Hitler's Nazi Germany.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's mind-boggling in its ramifications.
And, this is just another example of the clear hostility that this Obama administration has shown toward the First Amendment, particularly the free exercise of religion. You juxtapose this alongside the ObamaCare mandate that forces Catholic Christian organizations, groups to pay for employees to have elective abortions through RU 486, sterilizations, birth control, which is a central doctrine of the Catholic Church that they are opposed to, and this just shows more evidence that President Obama is the single most anti-Christian president in the history of the United States. His radical, secular, anti-life, pro-death progressivism is just marbled throughout every single policy that he is ramming down the throats of the American people.
I think that's exactly right. I know it sounds radical to a lot of people that may be listening to us, but I think the data bears it out. In an argument presented by the Department of Justice, I can't recall what the case was, but there was an exchange even from Justice Elena Kagan, who, of course, was appointed by President Obama and is no friend of life and religious freedom generally, in which Justice Kagan engaged the Department of Justice's attorney arguing in an exchange asking, wait a minute, are you telling me you don't think that the free exercise clause or the establishment clause really reaches this kind of behavior? And the attorney, without batting an eye, said, basically, no, we think if there's any protection, it's only under the freedom of association for Catholic churches and the like, in effect representing to the court that the Obama administration's official position is the free exercise clause no longer exists to protect Americans. And let me say to our friends on the left, Matt, that you may say, well, y'all are just all wet anyway on the issues of life and so forth. But remember what the ACLU has long argued, and I think correctly on this point. When the government engages in a power grab on one front here, it's going to affect all of us on other fronts later. So we all lose, whether you're for life or against it, when the government seizes power that really it doesn't have a right to. It's gone forever,
Well, this goes back to Obama's, during the campaign, saying that he intended to fundamentally transform America. Those were his words. Right. And what he meant by that, and his policies and actions have borne this out, is that he intends to do away with the constitutional republic envisioned by our framers and replace it with a Euro-socialist form of government. To people like Barack Obama, the United States Constitution is an encumbrance, something that you have to get around. Our framers intended it to be something to work with in harmony within the idea of individual liberty, and not to the secular socialist like Barack Obama. To people like Barack Obama, it is a hurdle that must be gotten over in order to impose a radical secular socialist agenda, and we only have a few seconds left.
To be candid, I think any of us, if we were in the executive office, we'd find the Constitution sometimes is a thorn in the side.
As he has said.
Freedoms, those limitations. It would be so much easier if we could just do what we know is right without any constraints by law. And yet, it's exactly the chains of that Constitution that we look to tie down our government and preserve our individual freedoms.
Well, folks, go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, to learn more about what we're doing in defense of life. We have a free pamphlet, The Truth About Abortion. You can find it on the website there, lc.org, or give us a call at 1-800-671-1776. Join Liberty Counsel's ministry as we stand in defense of the defenseless, as we stand up for the rights of our most vulnerable of citizens. Go to lc.org, give us a call, 1-800-671-1776. Stand with us as we stand in the gap. We are pushing back. We know that you will join us in pushing back too. lc.org. Give us a call or visit the website today.